Hey, and welcome to the Creative Real Estate Agent. I'm your host, Anastasia Forrest, broker associate with the Forrest team at eXp Realty. And today I'm sitting here and I'm having a conversation with Luke Newcomer, which is very exciting. Luke is an amazing agent here in St. Augustine. He's the CEO and the lead, along with Sadie, his wife, of the Newcomer Group. And they're just awesome. I've worked together with them before, and they're awesome people, amazing realtors, and now team leaders. And I just am so excited because Luke is also a musical person. I learned recently from listening to him being featured on a different podcast that he plays, I believe, 6 instruments. So we're going to talk all about that and a lot more. So thank you so much for being here, Luke.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for that very generous introduction. And I'm looking forward to dive into everything with you. I'm a big fan of what you're putting out right now. So it's pretty exciting to be featured on your podcast. And I got to be on the Real Estate Rockstar podcast like 3 weeks ago. So I'm making a little circuit right now. I'm having fun.
That is awesome. Yeah, I used to really not understand podcasts, and really, I just didn't get into them at first. Sean used to always listen to podcasts in the car. I'm like, how can you listen to people talk, all the time? I want to listen to music. And then he's like, honey, you have to start listening to this real estate podcast. Check this one out. It was Real Estate Uncensored. And so I started listening to that, and I kind of I got it. I was like, oh, podcasts are pretty cool.
I'm learning a lot about podcasts and all of this. I've yet to do it. It's something I want to do. Yeah. But I'm a huge podcast nut. Like I all I did was just listen to music in the car, but now it's like podcast and it's all real estate related. So like if you've got any good ones after this, let me know. I'm open to suggestions.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I'd love to. Yeah, you always learn something new, there's so much to learn, and just hearing people talk about real estate, it's like, it's all happening now too. It's so timely, So yeah, I really enjoyed hearing you on the Real Estate Rockstars. That was a great episode. I had not actually listened to that before, that podcast. I saw that you were on it, and I listened to it for that reason.
I listen to everyone that comes out. I highly suggest that one. Not just mine, but like all of them are great no matter where you are in business. They've got like reflective ones for brand new agents. They've got ones for people who are single agents doing it all versus like teams. So it's a good one. He definitely has some awesome content he puts out and gets some great guests on that panel. So definitely a good one.
Yeah, awesome. And if you guys haven't heard it, you should look up Luke's episode. It's very inspiring.
Thanks.
Absolutely. So you guys just opened up your office, right? You have your own, like a new place.
Opened up the brokerage team. We moved into the office. It's at 770 A1A Beach Boulevard. It's on the corner of basically East Street and A1A. Got new signage up. The building's beautiful. Our team's on the first floor, so we're super psyched to be on the boulevard and just kind of have our own space. We've been waiting for it and working for it for a while. So
congratulations. That's very cool. Yeah, I'll tell a little bit a story about you, if you don't, not about you, but about you're in it. But it was about my perception of real estate when I was very new. When I started, so like I said, I was at the same brokerage as Luke, though he had his own team. But during one of the first real estate meetings where everybody would be, sitting around this long table, he was out on the phone working the details, I think, of a last minute deal, or trying to get this really big deal closed. I think it was like close to $1 million or something. It was a big one. And he walked in like maybe 2 minutes later or something. You look so frazzled and stressed out. And I was like, oh my God, is this what it's going to be like?
It's what it's like.
I've definitely had those moments since then. I'm like, yep, sometimes it is like this.
That's a good first impression, because that is what it's like sometimes. You get better at those calls though as it goes, I think.
Yeah, just taking it in a little bit in stride if you can. But
that's a long time ago. That really ages us, I think.
You remember that?
I mean, probably not that exact situation, but I remember obviously when we were all at Ancient City Real Estate, and like that was a long time ago, because I was still relatively new as well at that time.
Yeah. You've been in it for what, 6 years?
5 years. This is our 5th year in business.
Oh my gosh. You guys are rocking and rolling. That's great. Good for you. Yeah, you work hard.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun, but we work hard. There's a lot, as you know, that goes behind everything than just the sales. So, and opening our brokerage now, it's like we're in charge of keeping the lights on and all the other things that go into just owning a building and the business and everything outside of selling houses. So there's been a big learning curve for that, but it's been a ton of fun.
Cool. That's great. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. I have like an icebreaker question for you. So
All right.
if you could go to see any musician or band, and they could be living or dead this weekend in concert, who would you go see?
If it was this weekend, so that answer, anytime someone asks that question, I try to not be like cliche and say like Jimi Hendrix or like Tupac. I'd love to see them, but I feel like that answer changes for me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it would 100% be the Grateful Dead. That's my favorite band of all time. And
Oh,
I got a new truck like a year ago, and they give you Sirius XM radio for 6 months for free. And all I have on it is, if it's not a podcast, I'm listening to the Grateful Dead channel. And I'm just very obsessed with that band. I love the history behind it also. If it was this weekend, it would be them. And then my backup would be the Velvet Underground.
okay. Very cool. Very cool. That's neat. I didn't know. Yeah, I had no idea what kind of music you liked. So I was like, oh, I gotta
I
find
like
out.
everything, and it always depends. I like everything. There's two things I don't like. I do not like popular country music, like top 40 country.
Mm-hmm.
Just gives me a headache, and I don't like heavy metal.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else I'm very open to. I love
Yeah.
rap. I do like country. I love jazz. But Grateful Dead's that's my favorite band of all time.
Seems like pretty chill music.
Yeah, it's all different, very fun. I like the improvisation of that band. I mean, they've got days and days and days of live music.
Mm-hmm.
They only have a certain amount of songs, but it's just they very correlates with our business. I feel their type of music.
Really, jam band?
Yes.
Yeah. How so?
I think. Well, it's like, okay, so I can't read a lick of music. I mean, I've had teachers. I was a student with different instruments, but I can't read music, but I know how to be in keys. And with jam band, like, someone wants to play in the key of B major, you improvise and you feed off of each other. And I think a lot of that comes with real estate. You've got to be on your feet and your toes, and you got to shift and pivot, and you got to read your customer just as if you're reading someone else that's on the drums and you're on guitar, and you see them change pace. So that's my correlation with it.
I like that analogy. Yeah, totally. That makes a lot of sense.
What would your band be? I'm interested. Now I got to know.
No. Oh, I see. I didn't know you were going to throw the question back at me. Now I gotta come up with something good. I think it'd be fun to go see Queen. My mom's like a huge Queen fan, and she's like Freddie Mercury fan. So it would be fun to take her to, and Sean, he also really enjoys that. And obviously they're classic. They have amazing music.
Yeah,
so it would be a blast.
There's that's a hard question to answer because there's so many I'd like to, but
yeah, that would be cool. Well, all right. So I kind of wanted to dive in. We'll get back to the real estate stuff, but let's dive in a little bit more to the music, because sometimes I get on the show with people and we end up talking so much about real estate, and then it's like, oh, we didn't have that much time to talk about the creative.
Let's get the music out of the way. That's my favorite part anyway.
Cool. So, how old were you when you began to be interested in playing music?
Yeah, I couldn't say a direct age, but I think I started taking piano lessons when I was 6 years old. My mom would drop myself and my two sisters off, and we'd rotate our turns and have 30-minute sessions with piano. I'm sure my parents really wanted us to have that type of music outlet, but I'm also sure it was a way for them to kind of pawn us off and give us, get a break from us. And I remember our piano teacher, just very old school church style. And we'd go to her house, we'd get the lessons, and I didn't really like it because she taught us to read music and I would just play back whatever she'd play. And I was so young, I guess I just didn't register at the time. So I picked up everything by ear, and she shut the book. I remember shutting the book and saying, play this song. And I played it. And she's like, you can't read music. What have you been doing the last 6 months? I'm like, I don't know. And it kind of deterred me from it for a bit. And then I got really into rock and roll, I guess probably in elementary school, got my first guitar when I was 8. And so I guess 8 years old is when I really started falling in love with music and having a strong appreciation for it.
Oh, that's neat. Where'd you grow up again?
I grew up in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania,
Okay. Okay.
like very rural farm area.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I can relate to the piano story just in general. Like that's about the age when I started taking piano lessons too. And yeah, church, somebody from church. And I guess learn like reading music isn't like the most exciting thing ever,
Yeah.
and the music theory definitely at that age, you're like, I just want to play. So
Yeah.
I get
I
that.
wish I did take it more seriously now, but I also kind of like that I can't read a lick of music and can
Yeah.
still play instruments fluidly because it goes back to the improvisation aspect of it. But
Yeah, and you're not going to be held back, or you're not going to like, it's almost like you have a lot of freedom to roam and to explore melodically just what sounds good to you instead of worrying about what's on the paper.
so
And not everybody can read music. I mean not everybody can improvise. Like some people
yeah,
can read music but they can't like improvise.
yeah.
um,
So
that's a good skill to have. Cool. So when did you guys move here? Did you meet Sadie in St. Augustine?
Sadie's from Manhattan. She's like born and raised in New York City, which a lot of people like don't know that, but like truly
Oh,
in
cool.
Manhattan, born and raised there. And
Yeah.
then I grew up in Pennsylvania. I graduated a year before her. We met at Flagler College. So I've been here since 2009. I graduated in 2013. We did like a brief stint up north for a bit after we both graduated, and then we both came back down here. And this is where we planted our roots, and we love it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great. I love St. Augustine too. It's hard to leave once you come here. I'm from upstate New York, and but I moved here like when I was like 10.
Yeah.
So I've been here a long time, but at first when I moved here, I was like, I don't know. I missed my home. I missed things about being, in a city and being upstate. But then
Yeah.
by the time you get to be, once you're here, it just you
Good.
start to fall in love with it, and can't imagine living anywhere else. So what you said on the show that you play 6 instruments. What instruments do you play?
Sure. So I always kind of say like roughly 6, right? My main instrument's guitar. Like that's my bread and butter. That's what I highly excel in. But I've played in bands where we like will change out instruments. So I got pretty decent at playing bass. I can play drums really well, keyboard, piano. I do sing. I can pick up a harmonica and play in a certain key. And then I also have a background in trumpet and saxophone. I played both of those in band in high school. I haven't picked one up in a long time, but I feel that I could probably get back into that if I had like a quick little studio session where I like refreshed my memory.
Yeah. Oh, how fun. That's definitely a lot of instruments. That's a fun selection of instruments too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I didn't know you sang because every once in a while you'll post a video on Facebook of singing.
I keep that for if I've got a reason to play in front of people, or if I'm with a group or something like that. But you're not going to catch me like wailing on an acoustic guitar and singing. I'm not doing it. not on camera at least.
Oh, it's funny. It seems like a lot of the musicians I can think of that I know personally. It seems like it's not always true, but it seems like you're either like you're one or the other. Like either you play you play the rhythm and you sing, or you're like a solo.
So
more into the solo stuff.
I do like a lot of looping. I love playing my electric guitar, and I loop a lot of stuff. So I do the rhythm, and then I'll like maybe drum on the guitar, and then find like another aspect, like a bass aspect, and then I like to solo over top of that. That's what I'd love to do the most.
That's a great way to practice too. I bet.
Used to have my drum set. I would have like an amp for my bass, and I'd loop the bass line. I'd loop everything on the guitars, and then I'd sit on the drums and just like play over top of everything, and it's a lot of fun.
That does sound like fun. I haven't experimented with looping, but it's definitely fascinating. It's really cool.
Fun. I pretty much the only way I like to play my guitar now.
Yeah. Wow. I think I saw Keller Williams back in the day, like 10, probably like 20 or 15 years ago.
I saw Keller Williams play, and that introduced me to looping music. I think I was in like 9th grade when I saw him play. He played at a local venue, and it was just like I've seen him play a bunch since then, and he's awesome at it.
Whenever I used to see Keller Williams real estate signs, I used to like, because I didn't know much about real estate, I'd be like, is that him?
Literally, me too. That's really funny.
That is funny. So are you able to find, you're really busy. You guys are getting you have so many listings and, clients and things going on. Do you find time to be creative and play music and stuff?
Yeah, I definitely do. We're incredibly busy, but I've gotten really good with having like a good schedule and kind of sticking to that. But yeah, I play guitar, not nearly as much as I'd like. I'd love to find like a small band where I get together once a week with someone and play a show once a month. That
Mm-hmm.
would be awesome. But I pick my guitar up probably 3 times a week. You know what I mean? Not like scheduled, but Sundays relaxing, evenings relaxing. So I do find time, but I could always like to play more. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
also go through spurts where I won't touch it
Yeah.
because I'm just not feeling it. And then I'll go months where I'm just like, I'm playing super consistently.
I think that's normal. I experience that too, where it's just sometimes maybe you just aren't feeling it and just kind
I'm
of you
playing
see
the
it,
same
but you're
stuff. I
like,
don't have any like inspiration to figure something new out. So
yeah, yeah. Um, so so I want to go back to the Flagler thing because I'm also a Flagler grad as well. You actually started like the year I graduated in 2008. So you came in right
okay,
after
we
I
just missed each other.
yeah. And then my first daughter was born in 2013 when you left or graduated. So that I know those dates are in my mind as well. I'm like, oh yeah, 2013. I remember 2013.
Yeah.
But so what did you study in college?
So I went to school for business and then minored in marketing and advertising. And literally, like, what brought me here was basically I didn't want to go to college,
Mhm.
and I had a gutter cleaning business in high school, and I skipped like 80 days of high school because I was so busy with this gutter cleaning business. Like my senior year, my parents were like, "If you're really actually working and your grades are okay, we don't care what you're doing."
Wow.
Painting gutters, and then I started like painting houses. I was doing all this like handyman construction stuff,
Mhm.
and I also had helped my dad flip a couple properties. And I was like, I don't want to go to college. Like, it just seems like a waste of time. I enjoy what I'm doing now. My mom was adamant. She's like, just apply to one school for me, please. And I went to Google and typed in like colleges near the beach that are affordable. And
Mhm.
Flagler College popped up. I'm like, this looks nice. I did early admission, never came and looked at it, and got accepted. And I was like, all right, guess I'm going to college here.
Oh
And
wow.
pulled up, and it was just like it was beautiful. Everyone was nice, and I was like, man, mom, you were totally right. Good call.
That's very serendipitous.
Yes.
Did you like to surf or something? Is that what drew
Yeah.
you to
So
the
I
beach?
always grew up going to the beach in the summers. Fell in love with surfing, skimboarding, skateboarding, anything with a board, and I knew I wanted to be by a beach if I was going to go to college. So,
Mhm.
and they had a business program. I've always been a nut for business. I really appreciate business. So, as nerd as
Clearly,
I might be,
yeah.
love business. I'm in it. I have a business.
Yeah.
I like talking business. It's like it's up there with music for me.
Yeah, that's great that you enjoy it so much. It was Sadie in the same program as you?
She did communications and political science.
Oh,
So we
cool.
like our degrees definitely balance each other out for how we run our business for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. That's a very interesting combination. So do you feel like your marketing skills, like, do you use some of the stuff you learned in college for your business today?
Not really. I would say I use the relationships that I made in college more than anything.
Mhm.
Like a big portion of our team, there's probably, I'm going to throw this number out, I don't know if it's accurate. There's probably like 8 people on our team that graduated from Flagler College.
Wow.
And we have a team of like 13, 15. So
Wow.
a big portion of the people
Yeah.
graduated from there. I've made awesome connections. I did the math 2 years ago, and I should do it again because you'd really appreciate this. The amount of alumni transactions that I've done with agents that have
Mhm.
graduated from Flagler and with customers that have been with Flagler is over $70 million in real estate transactions.
Wow.
So that's really cool. I should do that math again and figure out
Yeah,
what that
it'd be
number
different
truly
now.
is. Because that
Yeah.
to me was like, I don't really remember what I learned in college. Not
Mhm.
like I went to classes, I took it seriously, but like the relationships and just kind of the college in general has given a lot back to me. So
Oh, that's really
that was
neat.
my big takeaway from college.
That's really neat. Yeah, that's a really neat way to look at it.
And I met my wife there.
Oh
So
yeah, I
college
mean,
was like a no-brainer. I think it's great if you can do it.
yeah, yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, obviously, like, yeah, you met your wife there. That's pretty huge.
Life changing. So that's
Yeah.
for me. The business program there was really cool too because I remember all of my professors because I was in the business program and it was a private school. A lot of my professors were like doing it for fun. They
Mhm.
weren't your traditional like PhD type professors. Like hey, I ran a law firm, or hey, I was a CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah.
They were all like small business owners or came from corporate America.
Mhm.
So it was easy for me to resonate and listen to someone like that and take it seriously because I'm like, all right, they're coming from real world experience. So that was very cool for me personally.
Oh yeah, I bet. I bet he's somebody that you could definitely like relate to and be
Yeah.
inspired by. And
They've been there, done that, and they were doing it. I felt at the time, maybe I was wrong, but I felt they were there doing it because they genuinely liked talking business and wanted to give back.
yeah, that's cool. What did you think you were going to end up doing when you were in those programs? Did you have any idea what was going to happen
So
after college
I
for you?
had no idea. I had absolutely no idea, but I always knew it was like, I actually took a corporate job right out of college. I got an internship with Advanced Disposal Waste Management. They're based out of Ponte Vedra,
Mm-hmm.
huge company, like really big now. They were just growing then, and I interned with them, and then they offered me a job after the internship, and I said yes. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a job out of college, and I was like maybe 60 days into it, and was like, this is not what I want to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And originally wanted to open a restaurant. That was always the dream Sadie and I had. So
What kind of restaurant?
we were gonna do poke bowls,
Oh,
and we
nice.
actually, so like I know you had asked this previously, but what actually got us into real estate was we were going to open a restaurant. We had the location, we had everything figured out. We actually got into a pretty bad car accident
Mm-hmm.
that put Sadie out of work for like over a year. I worked part time. I mean, I grew up in the restaurant industry, serving tables, bussing tables, bartending, everything in it. And we I had to go work part time. Crazy time in our lives, really challenging. And as we were recovering, especially Sadie, she was watching a bunch of HGTV.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's not real estate, but it's very great TV. And we were just trying to figure out what the next step was. And I've always been inspired with real estate. I like the aspect of investing, flipping, and selling. And we both got licensed together and kind of just hit the ground running. We've been having
Wow.
fun ever since.
What an amazing like shift to.
Yeah.
I mean, you did speak a bit about your car accident in the show, the podcast
Yeah.
that that I heard.
It was like, it affected Sadie and I both very differently in our lives, but it happened. And it's like, we both learned a lot from that. And I think it's a big reason that we kind of like, had to get our shit together. And it was just like, what's that next phase? And for me, I felt like, man, I just missed out on like over a year of my life. I just want to get as far ahead as possible and never be backed into this type of corner and situation again. So it's been a big motivator and inspiration for me. And it's given me a lot of perspective for a multitude of things, trying to take yourself too seriously, that kind of stuff. And from a work ethic standpoint, it's a big motivator.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can imagine. I've never been in a bad car accident, but it looks, I mean, it's scary. I'm glad you guys are okay.
Yeah.
I had cancer in 2009. So I did the chemo and all that. And anytime, it's weird, anytime any kind of like really big surprising thing comes in that kind of threatens your mortality and just makes you realize how transitory it is. It's like, it affects people in different ways, but it just changes you.
It changes your perspective. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a good thing to happen, but it's very grounding when you have a life-changing experience that's like life or death, or watching a loved one struggle through something. It definitely gives you a different perspective. And the things that some people think are this big deal, like really nothing's that big of a deal unless it's life-threatening. As cliche as that sounds. And I think a lot of people don't get that perspective unless they've really been challenged in life with something like that.
Right. It puts it in perspective. Yeah. I'm actually doing my my training for my post licensing for the broker license. And there's this part about the cyclical nature of the real estate market. And it actually talks a little bit about 9/11 and how that affected the market.
Yeah.
And I got really curious. I started like going back and reading articles and stuff just because I was curious to compare it to what's going on now. Considering, what's going on now with COVID, obviously is such an upheaval, and just, there's a lot of fear and anxiety. And also I was just curious, like, how did that affect the market? So I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on like, what is
funny you say that, because like when this all started happening, I guess like 18 months ago or whatever, everybody was comparing this to 9/11 of like, the fear, the panic. And I don't necessarily know what the real estate markets were, but I do remember at that time, I was in fifth grade when that happened. But I remember my dad not working for like 2 months and just like things really stopping and shutting down for a bit, plane, flights getting delayed. And I remember reading articles about people walking away from their escrows and deals during 9/11, very similar to our market. I mean, we had like 30% of what we had in contract. They just walked away from the deal because there was just so much uncertainty. They're like, they can keep my binder, get my binder back, but it was just such a bizarre time then. So
wow.
Now that we're in it so long, I don't know how much of a correlation there is, but
interesting. Yeah, I know it's different. I think one thing I read that I didn't realize because I was in junior, I was probably like 16 or 17 when 9/11 happened, but I wasn't really paying attention to real estate at the time, but now that I'm looking back, I read that, they actually like the government did things to like stimulate the economy and actually people started buying and consuming.
Yeah, people like things really shut down for like a good period of time after that. So I was young. I didn't register for me. So
interesting. It's been interesting to watch this too, where it seemed like there was a couple months there where it was really quiet. And just everybody's figuring out, well, what's going on. And we literally, had shut down. A lot of people at home. And then all of a sudden just like started picking up and just, I mean, as far as the demand goes, there's not enough inventory, obviously, but the demand is like crazy right now. Especially I was looking back in March and April and just kind of like, I was like, oh my gosh, it was going nuts in March and April.
Yeah.
So do you think like uncertainty and experiences that challenge us inspire us to be more creative in life?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that comes with like wisdom a little bit too. You know what I mean? As you have more experiences, as you see things happen, I think number one, you get more creative with situations to have more time to process and think about the things that have happened. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a cool thing when it can. That's very cool. So what are you thinking of the market right now? Like, do you have any ideas? Like, do you have any thoughts or speculations on how long it's going to last?
Look, I think that it's been such a bizarre time the last 18 months, like on a multitude of levels, that I'm definitely cautiously optimistic with a lot of things. We've seen our market appreciate like 20% from this time last year. I mean, it's crazy. You're watching. There's a house that's listed right now that we sold. Taylor and my team sold it last year for $475,000, and it's now on the market for $850,000. They didn't do anything to it, and I've got a buyer that's considering purchasing it because he's doing a 1031 exchange and needs to spend the money.
Wow.
So it's like, that kind of stuff. I think that you're going to see it really start to level off. I think you will see some more inventory come to the market, which is good. I think you're going to see rates go up, but I don't think that you're going to see this discount for buyers happen. You're going to see more options and availability, and then the sellers are probably going to be upset when their house doesn't sell in 1 week and it takes maybe 30 days to sell it, which is not a bad thing. So I don't think it's going to stay as crazy and competitive as it is, but I do think that you'll see some more inventory. You'll see the rates go up, and you'll see us come into a more normalized market where you're going to see like 3 to 4% appreciation year over year.
Yeah.
And we're desperate for inventory. I mean, I think the stats I've read, like anybody that's in forbearance right now, if they foreclosed on their home tomorrow, still wouldn't fix our inventory prices.
I was looking at the stats from July, in the MLS, the St. Johns County MLS. And I saw like July 0.9 months of inventory.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's very low.
But no, look, we are actively, personally, we just bought an investment property, and I like real estate. I really believe in it. I think it's an awesome place to hedge for inflation. I think when there is a lot of uncertainty, as long as you've got enough cash to get through whatever you feel you need to get through, people are putting it into real estate, probably more so than almost anything else right now. So that's usually a safe bet. A lot of transactions here in our market, we're not doing a lot of like FHA, VA loans here. A lot of my buyers personally, like they're buying their second, third home and it's cash.
Yeah.
So like people, my clientele personally, like that's just, losing their home's really not a concern for them. They've got 5 of them that they can sell before their primary. So
Nice place to be.
I think it depends on like what type of market you're working in. You know what I mean? But I think St. Johns County is just, I think we're on pace to have a very strong market for Florida and throughout the country as a whole.
Yeah.
We're probably one of the best markets for the next 5 to 8 years. I think we're going to boom here.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's definitely a popular place, and people have a lot of interest in coming here for sure. It is hard with those FHA and VA loans. It's challenging.
It's challenging.
Yeah,
it's hard. We work with those people all the time, but it's like, my hope is that when you start seeing a little bit more of that inventory, it'll give them an option to take advantage of this buying opportunity, because those types of buyers, I mean, they're getting the best deals of their life. They're going to look back in 20 years from now and, flip out that they got a 2.75%, 3.2% interest rate, when rates go up to maybe 6-7%.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So I just want to hear a little bit more about, so when we worked together, at Ancient City, under DJ and Lindsay, you guys, it was you, Sadie, and Zach. You had like a 3-person team. And now you've got what, 13, you said 13, 15?
So the way we're set up now, it's crazy. Zach's still with us. He's vice president. And still sells. I mean, it's really funny how far we've all come. Like every once in a while I'll get like something on my feed where it's like 4 years ago and it's just the 3 of us, like as little, like looking like kids. But so I still am actively, like I still sell real estate. I'm heavy in production with the team. And then we have 10 agents on the team that are all in sales. Sadie does not sell anymore. I mean, she does all the back end, manages the contracts, makes sure everything's flowing, just basically keeps everything organized that you don't typically think about. We have a full-time administrative assistant. We've got a full-time transaction coordinator that works solely for our team. And then we have a full-time videographer, photographer, Evan.
Wow. You guys have grown so much. That's very cool.
It's really fun. I mean, we've got an awesome group of people, and our retention's really big, which means a lot to me because it just shows that everybody gets a lot of value out of the team. I mean, everybody has their own really awesome success stories, whether they're new agents, whether they've been doing this for a while with us. So we've got awesome culture, really good camaraderie, and just, we all care about one another, which is kind of cliche to say, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, that's cool. It's amazing. Yeah. So I remember actually when I first started working at Ancient City Real Estate, you actually walk by, you're like, you want some leads? You want to work on some leads? And you like threw me some Facebook leads to work, it was cool.
A lot of leads.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, is your life easier or harder now with running all of that? Is it?
I would say, like, I've never felt that my life was hard.
Yeah.
But, I think that I would get, like, I have a very short attention span. Like, I like to have a lot of things going on at once. That keeps me inspired. That keeps me going. I would say that if I didn't grow, I'd probably be really bored. I wouldn't be selling real estate anymore. I'd be doing something else crazy if I hadn't grown and expanded and brought more people in, because I like the moving parts. I like the new challenges. So to answer your question, like, it's fun having the new challenges. I would say we have so much more going on. So like my life is more complicated, but I've chosen to do that. It's by choice. And I enjoy those complications because I like improvising. I like figuring things out. And, once you get everything figured out, up and running, it's like, all right, what's the next layer that we should add? Like when we brought on Evan, who's our videographer, he does all of our like property tours. He shoots all of our listings. And that was a really hard thing for us to take on because, it's someone on payroll, and most agents will outsource that to go get the listings. And we started doing the math, and it's like, well, it makes more financial sense to just bring somebody in-house. So now we can put out more video content. We have someone that's readily accessible to go shoot the listings, and he's on our team. You know what I mean? So that's fun to continue the building blocks and bring on new layers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it's a little scary at first when you're like, well, this person's dependent on me now,
Yes. I mean, oh my God. Like anytime we do something new, like so the building we're in, we actually purchased that building. And when we purchased it and we're under contract, like I would wake up in the middle of the night and just be like, what am I doing? Like, this is so stupid. Like, and you think of all the things that can go wrong, but I've learned that if you just think about worst case scenario, know that that's what the worst case scenario is, and then focus on all the things that can go right. It's a very easy way to clear your head.
Oh, that's good advice for everybody right now, I think. Yeah, I get scared to go on Facebook these days. I love, commenting and socializing and seeing what people are saying and doing. And lately I'm just scared. I'm like, I don't want to see anybody.
I do a cleanse. If I see something I don't like, I just follow. I don't have, I got rid of all of my news sources, everything, anyone that has an opinion politically or something that's very one-sided. I'm like, I don't need to read what you have to say anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now my feed's pretty good. I just did the cleanse like 2 weeks ago. So my feed's great. Like I'll see friends, things going on.
So you don't get stuck. You can avoid getting sucked in.
Yeah, I like to see people's kids. I like to see people's successes. I like to see what people are eating. Like I don't really care about your agenda or opinions. So
there's a lot of those flying around.
You can silence them for 30 days, or you can just totally unfollow. It's good. Right. I like Instagram better. I feel like there's more like consistent things that you choose to see instead of things that are like forced in front of you, like Facebook.
Yeah, it's very interesting how different they are. Like I'm still like figuring it out, and how, even link and talking about LinkedIn, that's a totally different animal too. And it's just like still learning what goes on each and how to make the most of each. There's really like an unlimited possibility, but it's just a learning process, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. But so I really appreciate you, chatting with me and everything. I was wondering if you would be willing to play something today on the show. I think that'd be cool.
All right. I'll do like a quick like guitar riff lick that I enjoy a lot. But I'm not singing or anything. Is that reasonable?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Right. Let's see here. This is funny that I'm doing this. All right. So I keep these. I know everybody likes to cut these off. My cat loves to play with them, so anytime I restring my guitar, I leave them on for
her. Hey, is that a Washburn?
Yes.
Awesome. I used to have one of those.
They're the best.
Yeah.
All right. So this is like Led Zeppelin inspired a little bit, but then I put my own twist on it. So here we go.
Awesome, man.
There we go.
Your rhythm is great too. That's very percussive. I like that. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's awesome. And up and down the neck too. Learning the different chord forms up and down the neck.
It's like the chord progressions actually from the song Ramble On.
Oh, okay. This sounded familiar.
Yeah, and then the first three, and then the rest is just kind of like playing off of E major.
Oh, fun! I love E major.
Me too.
It's like such a.
I like playing in E major and B major.
Okay.
Those are like my favorite chords to play off of.
In piano, those keys are challenging because they've got a lot of the black keys in them.
Really?
Yeah, like the sharps, Yeah. So once you get like the easiest key to play on piano is like C. Yes. G only has one sharp. Then you got your D, which has two, and then you got your A major's got three, and you start getting into the, I guess next I think is E, and it's like starts to get harder. It's like 4,
That's 1,000% over my head.
More black keys. Harder. Yeah. It gets harder to read too, because you're like, oh, I've got to remember there's a sharp here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was very fun though. Thank you. That was like good energy, good stuff, fun music.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to like let people know how to get a hold of you how to contact you?
So Facebook, love if you want to give a like to our page at the Newcomer Group. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel of the Newcomer Group. We're like 1 away from 100. I know that's not a lot for some people, but we have a lot of really good content on there. Instagram, you can follow me, Just Kitten, one word, type in my name. I like Instagram probably more than anything. So.
Okay, I have to ask, what's Just Kitten?
It's literally how it sounds. What's really funny is
What is it though?
it's just what I chose. Like, hey, I'm
That's
just kidding.
funny.
Like, I'm messing around. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
playing on words.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to change it.
Mhm.
Sadie will not let me change it because she loves it so much. And it's what's really funny is I've had so many people DM me asking to like give them that username. So there's a lot of
Oh.
Just Kittens out there of like Just Kitten 123 or Just Kitten something else. I
Oh.
am the original Just Kitten. Apparently,
Oh.
like when Instagram first came out, I got that username, and it's a hot commodity apparently. So I'm gonna hold on to it.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, before it was like just not like sort of like not on Instagram as much. And I was like, who is this? Who's Just Kitten?
Yes, everyone asks me all the time, like, "Do you realize your Instagram handler is Just Kitten?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's supposed to be funny." So
Yes, awesome. Well, it's been a blast. Thank you so much, Luke. I appreciate
yeah,
you
keep
doing
it
this
up. This
today.
is awesome. I really appreciate you inviting me on. I think it's awesome to be able to do this with two people in the same industry, and I enjoyed the people that you get to interview. So definitely keep it up, and thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm just going to end the live stream over here, or
Perfect.
actually, I can do it from here. So I'm just going to go stop live stream. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
See you guys.
I'll be back soon with another more great content for you. Bye.